Washer at the Ford by Michael Flynn, Chapter 2, page 25. When Singer answered the doorbell on the first floor of the laboratory building and saw Masao Koyanagi standing outside, he did not know who it was. His door opened only an inch, held in place by a diamond fiber chain that he had knitted himself. It was built up from intricately bonded layers of carbon atoms grown in a vat. No in-mugger's bolt cutter could break it. He peered through the crack and saw a short, thin Japanese man wearing a bluish-gray suit with the faintly iridescent diagonal pinstripes that were the fashion rage among businessmen that year. This man's hair was impeccably groomed, his nails buffed to a sheen. "Yes?" said Singer suspiciously. It might be a Zaibatsu sales rep. The Nip Brazilians were constantly after him for permission to produce or market his inventions. Singer preferred his own privately held company and subcontracted whatever manufacturing work was necessary to local concerns. He was small, and God willing, he would remain small. Giant corporations had been the death of American business and were already strangling Japanese and Brazilian enterprise with their bureaucratic inertia. "Dr. Singer?" the stranger asked. "Have I the honor of addressing Dr. Charles Randolph Singer?" "You're doing it," Singer allowed. "Whether it's an honor or not is up to you." The stranger chuckled nervously and glanced behind him. "May I come in for a moment?" he asked. Singer closed the door, unlatched the diamond chain, and opened the door again. The stranger scurried through, and Singer banged the door and shot the bolt. "You're taking a big chance going out alone," he said. "Not only the outmuggers. There's plenty of folks around in the Northeast who'd like to play Trap the Jap, Mr. He let the word drawl out. "I am Koyanagi-sensei Masao. That is, Dr. Masao Koyanagi." He bowed part way, equal to equal, and a business card appeared as if by magic in his cupped, outstretched hands. Singer sighed inwardly. Meishi. He took the card, using only his right hand, though strictly speaking, he should have used both hands. The Japanese made a big deal out of presenting their business cards, and a powerful lot of Americans, he knew, were taking up Japanese customs and behaviors, all the gairi and gaimu nonsense. But Singer didn't hold with that and delighted in displaying American crudeness. After all, Koyanagi was wearing Western clothing, not a kimono, and a lot of the Japanese in Brazil were picking up Brazilian manners, or at least so he'd heard. Crudeness was all a matter of culture and taste. However, he was not so crude as to take the card with his left hand. "All right, Dr. Koyanagi, what do you want?" "I would like to do business with you," his visitor replied bluntly. Singer sighed. "I thought so. Another sales rep. Which Zaibatsu are you from?" "No, never mind. I don't want to know." He walked to the door. "Don't let the doorknob ream your ass on the way out." Koyanagi grimaced. "Please, Dr. Singer-sama, it is not that at all. I am a scientist. I represent only my..." "A scientist? Wait a minute." He pointed a finger at him. "You're not the M. Koyanagi of Sao Paulo Biophysics Laboratory, are you? The further study of M. radiodurans under robust levels of gamma radiation? That Koyanagi?" The visitor bowed again, much lower this time, showing gratitude. "I am honored that you know of my unworthy efforts." Singer reached out and tapped the man on the chest with his forefinger. "You owe me 500,000 Nova Cruzeiros. The nanomachines that you used to enhance that bacterium were proteins that I patented." Koyanagi winced. "Please, Dr. Singer, That is an issue you must address to Sao Paulo. If it were only myself, I would pay you the 500,000 Novo Cruzios and more, and welcome to it. Without your nanomachines, my work would have been impossible. Singer paused. Then what? I bring you an opportunity to become rich and famous. I'm already rich and famous, Singer grunted. But now you got my attention. Come on upstairs and set a spell. Singer had converted the second floor of the building into a comfortable apartment. It was equipped with a kitchen, living room, and 2 bedrooms, a library, and some rooms that varied in their functions. The living room ran the full width of the building and had a picture window at each end. In square footage, the apartment was as big as most houses. Singer also had a home in the country, but normally spent only his weekends there. He liked to stay close to the action. He let Koyanagi into the apartment and looked around. "Wife's out right now," he said. "Go on, have a seat, son, and keep talking about making me rich." He gestured to the couch in the apartment's living room. "Can I offer you anything? Tea?" Koyanagi smiled. "No, but a shot of cachaça would be fine." Singer jerked his head around. He grinned. "Acculturating, aren't you? Let me see what I have." After a few moments, he returned with a glass of dark liquid. "Couldn't find any cachaça. Will Barbados rum do?" "Oh, very nicely, thank you." Koyanagi took it and tossed it off in one swallow. "At the train station," he said, "I felt as if all eyes were on me. Not friendly eyes either." Singer shrugged. "What do you expect? They have to blame somebody for the economic mess they're in, so it might as well be you. Brazilians have the same problem, except most of them pretend to be Puerto Ricans to make themselves socially acceptable." "Did you walk here from Metro Park Station?" "No cab would take me." No, not without a Nisei badge, and maybe not even then." He took a seat facing his visitor. "So tell me, Dr. Koyanagi, why are you here? This is no casual visit, obviously. How do you plan to make me rich?" Koyanagi drew himself up and launched himself into what seemed a prepared speech. "Dr. Singer, you are the world's foremost authority on nanotechnology. You hold more biogenetic patents than any living individual. People have compared you to Thomas Edison. Yes, I know. That's why I built my laboratory here in Menlo Park. You see that tower outside the north window? That's where Edison built his original invention factory. But son, you did not come 8,000 miles just to tell me I'm a great man. I already knew that. So I am buttering you up. Is that the phrase? Most peculiar. The Persians say I am putting melons under your arms. No, I have a request to make of you." He hung his head and rotated the empty highball glass between 2 hands. "I have made a most intensive study of Micrococcus radiodurans," he said, after a moment of silence. "You know of it?" Singer nodded. "Microorganism with high resistance to radiation. It can survive radiation levels that are, 1,000 times the lethal dose for humans, right? 1,000,000 years worth of normal background radiation delivered in one punch." Koyanagi nodded vigorously. Yes. Kitayama and Matsuyama studied it extensively in 1979. I have expanded on their original work. I believe the organism's resistance is due to internal protein structures rather than to its simplicity, as everyone has assumed. Singer nodded. "All right," he interrupted. You're a certified genius and a pioneer. Go on. How does M radiodurans make me any richer than I am now? Singer leaned forward eagerly. There was a cash flow problem developing in the lab, and new ideas for income were always welcome. Does the Signor recall the Mir disaster? Singer blinked at the change of subject and sat up straight. The Soviet space station? Yes, of course. The solar flare caught them unprepared. There were 3 cosmonauts up there, and 2 of them died almost immediately. It set their space program back by half a decade. The 3rd man also died from delayed cancer a few years later. Yes, I remember. What of it? I was wondering. Koyanagi looked up, then out of the window where the Edison Tower stood. What if those cosmonauts had been, well, inoculated with M radiodurans? Inoculated? Singer felt a tingle move through his body and leaned forward. What are you trying to say? Koyanagi looked at him. Proteins are strings of lumpy beads. If they fold up the right way, the lumps can fit together like the pieces of a Chinese puzzle and form enzymes and hormones. There are sticky places on molecules. Could the proteins that M radiodurans uses be folded in such a way that they could stick to, say, white blood cells so that, Singer straightened, so that humans would become radiation resistant too, he finished. So the proteins could repair human cells instead. Son, that is the craziest, most off-the-wall notion I've ever heard. Koyanagi's face crumpled. Then you do not believe it is possible? Singer laughed. Hell, I said it was crazy. I didn't say it wouldn't work. Crazy ideas are the only ones worth trying. Singer stuck out his paw and engulfed Koyanagi's manicured hand. He shook it vigorously. Welcome to Singer and Associates, Dr. Koyanagi. Singer Lab's conference room was centered on a round wooden table, inlaid with touchpads and sunken terminal screens. A portable lectern with a Mystica pad stood in the front of the room, and the entire front wall was taken up by a flat screen electronically connected to the pad. Singer and the other associates sat in padded swivel chairs, listening while Koyanagi outlined his concept. Singer wanted everyone to have the same clear vision, and where better to get it from than the original visionary? If only small areas of the body are affected, Koyanagi was saying, human beings can tolerate remarkable levels of radiation. Even though the affected tissues die, the organism survives. That is the basis for radiation therapy for cancer. However, even small doses can be fatal if delivered as a whole body irradiation. Tolerance varies from person to person, but generally speaking, dosages in the 600 to 800 rad range are 100% fatal, while doses running 400 to 600 rads are 50% fatal. To put these numbers in perspective, recall that the levels reported 20 kilometers downwind of Chernobyl were in the range of 450 rads. Singer listened carefully, taking notes on his terminal. Maseo wasn't telling them anything new, of course. That wasn't the purpose of the initial briefing. The idea was to tune everyone's thoughts to the same channel. Our task, Koyanagi continued, is to raise the radiation level that human beings can tolerate. The old term for this was hardening. We have known of ways in which people can be hardened to some extent. For example, a diet rich in green vegetables coupled with large doses of vitamin A and E can effect a 30% reduction in damage done by radiation. What I envision, however, is a prophylactic taken in the form of a pill, perhaps, or an injection that will install in the human metabolism the same sort of molecular machinery that some lower life forms possess. A vaccine against radiation, mused Jessica Burton Peeler. She was a mature woman with a Rubenesque figure, the kind that men once found attractive in the days before anorexia became fashionable. She wore owlish glasses and a dark blue suit with a ruffled blouse. She was the second best geneticist in North America. Correct, Dr. Peeler, replied Koyanagi. A vaccine. But how is it to work? Radiation consists of fragments of shattered atoms, broken shards of nuclei, individual particles, high-energy photons, alpha, beta, gamma. These act like subatomic bullets. When they strike atoms within the tissues of the body, they knock electrons loose, ionizing the cell material and causing abnormal chemical reactions. Since living tissues depend upon precise and elaborate sequences of chemical reactions to perform their functions, these abnormalities can easily prove fatal. The cells reproduce themselves too slowly. They are destroyed faster than they can be replaced. Or else the replacement cells themselves are abnormal. The problem, therefore, is one of broken molecules. What I envision is quite simple. A nanomachine that will paste these broken molecules back together as fast as ionizing events can fracture them. There was a moment of silence before Kalpit Patel blurted, "Then I am glad that what you envision is not complex." The microbiologist was a second-generation Indian American. His skin was coffee-colored, and he sported a caterpillar mustache and thinning gray hair. At 52, he was the oldest of the group. Koyanagi smiled. Yes, the goal to harden humans and the objective, a cell repair nanomachine, are easy to state, perhaps not so easy to do. However, I am sure that if anyone can do so, it is this illustrious group. Singer thanked Koyanagi for his briefing. Koyanagi bowed and took a seat. And Singer strode to the front of the room, where he activated the Mystica pad. He looked over the group and grinned, tossing the electronic stylus in the air and catching it.